Hello and welcome to the final video for the Mage Tower Challenge. The final challenge? The Twins. The Twins are, in essence, a kiting challenge, not too dissimilar from the old vanilla hunter Rock de Larbo. The Twins are a multi-stage fight, unlike really the arcane or fire ones. So I've broken them up into phases. I'll walk you through them. Phase 1, Karam will be mind-controlled by his brother Race, and he will begin to chase you. You will need to use your frost spells to slow him, because the longer the phase lasts, the faster he gets until he eventually catches up with you and one-shots you. The speed increase resets with each transition, so you want to not stay in any phase for too long. Your objective in this fight is simply to DPS Karam down until he has to recover, at which point his brother Race then becomes available to attack. Throughout this phase he is shielded, you can't do any damage until you have dealt with Karam first. Race will then start spawning adds. Hint, and always remember this, is that these little swirls you see on the ground, that's where the adds are going to spawn from. Make sure your water elemental is not in those, because while he is very rarely attacked by them normally, if he is in those zones when those adds spawn, he will take damage and die, and you will lose DPS you could use on Race to have to resummon him. In phase 2, Race goes invulnerable again and Karam starts chasing. Everything repeats the same as phase 1, adds will continue to spawn, Karam will continue getting faster and faster. The only new thing here is a new mechanic called a Hand from Beyond. This summons up a little rift which begins a long cast. You have to interrupt this, otherwise it'll do a big lot of AoE, and the more health you have, the better. It is possible to survive one of these, either by simply tanking it, or or ice blocking it, but ideally what you want to do is interrupt it, or kill it before it finishes its cast. You can survive one hit, it is unlikely that you will survive two. Phase 3 adds everything from phase 1 and 2 and adds yet another mechanic for you to deal with, this time in the shape of runes on the ground that get smaller and smaller. You get rid of these runes and prevent the spawning by standing in them. Failure to do so will spawn a Cathraxi that will wreck your shit. But even if one does manage to spawn, it is subject to slows like the rest of the adds in here. You can deal with perhaps one up. Any more than that, and no, you're gonna die. Now this is why we've taken, I'll talk about talents later, but this is why I believe you should have your elemental out, because your elemental can actually stand in these zones and absorb them for you. So what you can do is watch where the rune is going to, preferably keybind your move to button from your pet bar, and have your pet move to the rune. The pet will absorb the rune. You can go back to doing damage. Phase 4 is everything all at once, but this time Race has no shield. By this point you should have him fairly low, so what I did is forget about all those other mechanics and just go full Chernobyl on that guy. Alright, now for my recommended talents. For the talents, you really can only choose the 75 and 90 rows. The others are fairly well set in stone, but I'll touch on them when I get there. Your choice for the 15 row talents will most likely dictate what your choice is going to be in the 60 row. If you take Lonely Winter and forego your elemental, you will most likely take Frozen Touch as a means of offsetting your loss of easy Fingers of Frost procs. The easier build, which I used, makes good use of your elemental, so you take Splitting Ice, so that you can cleave off of Karam and off of Race. For putting as much distance between you and the twins in a pinch, my recommendation is Shimmer, as 2 charges of Blink is always good, and it doesn't interrupt your spellcasting and plays well with one of the legendaries I'll cover later should you choose it. Mirror Image sounds like something you'd want for extra burst damage, but given how hectic the fight can become later, you have more chances of messing it up, and if you're going with a Lonely Winter build, it's assumed you already know how to make a good use of Incanter's Flow. Rune of Power will require you to stand still for its maximum benefit and should not be taken under any circumstance. This is where I was talking about the 75 and the 90 roses being fairly locked. Frigid Winds will make your passive slow even further, and is even more useful than any of the other talents in that row. If you're hoping to brute force the challenge, you may get some use from Unstable Magic, but Arctic Gale's increase to area of effect and damage of Blizzard it's the best in my opinion, especially if you have the weapon trait that makes an instant cast when your Frost Orb is out. Row 100, Thermal Void for maximum damage with your Icy Veins, Comet Storm if you're finding yourself routinely overwhelmed by ads and need something to help clear them. As for which legendaries would help in this challenge, I can't recommend enough to take pride as. The stats are good for Frost Mages, and the shield it provides will save you from what is normally a one-shot mechanic. That gives you a little bit of wriggle room. If survivability is still an issue for you, you can take Belivere's Final Stand, since you will be likely taking Shimmer, that's essentially 2 shields as a backup, but as it is a chest piece, it takes up a tier slot. If you have the Sephir's Ring, that's a very solid choice. It's a passive speed increase and an extra movement increase for whenever you root, interrupt, and you will be doing a lot of those. Using your Frost Nova to root ads, or when you interrupt the Hen from Beyond, you will get a speed and haste buff, and that's just amazing for this fight. You can also take the Shard of the Exodar, which means you'll be able to benefit from Time Warp and a Drums effect throughout the fight. So that's 2 lusts, meaning a lot of damage, particularly for the 2 phases where Wraith is vulnerable for only short periods. This, however, starts to become less useful if your fight is not going to be more than 5 minutes if you run out of drums. So you need to have your Drums of Fury, or Drums of the Mountain, and an active Time Warp for this one to really be useful. Zarnesu's Journey is good for clearing ads should you need to, and it doesn't take up any tier slots, so it's a solid recommendation. Since you'll likely be using your pet to help generate Fingers of Frost procs, you may also find use in Magtheridon's Banished Braces, but I don't rate it as high as the others I've mentioned so far. For myself, not having any of the Frost-specific legendaries or the Sephir's Ring, I ran with the Prida's Neck and the Shard of the Exodar, although in my kill video I was too focused on other things and missed my second lust. You have my permission to laugh. Before I show you the kill video, I should point out there are a few bugs that occasionally happen. Firstly, for unknown reasons, Karam will occasionally randomly speed up and one-shot you, even when your Frost slow effect is still on him. Second, Karam can do his one-shot mechanic twice in a row with no time between, and even with the Prida's Neck, that will kill you. If you manage to survive the one-shot, like Karam's Dragon Strike Breath thing, actually launches him into the air, and you may find him stuck on a ledge, being unable to chase you, and not being rooted in place with any one of your abilities, he will despawn the fight. Which I guess is fair, but after as many attempts as it took for me to get it, I really wish he would just stay put. Of all the challenge appearances for the Mage, I can say without doubt that this is the only one, to me anyway, that looks any good. Easily my favourite of the 3. I'd go so far as to rank it equal with the Frostfire Hidden Skin. The other recolors are for killing heroic leveled Kil'jaeden in the Tomb of Sargeras, for winning 10 rated battlegrounds, and for completing all of the Legion dungeons with the base colour equipped. And thank you for watching. I hope this video was as helpful to you as it was fun for me to make. Leave any thoughts down in the comments below and let me know what you think. So until next time, adieu.
Need help? Go with honor, friend.
You're a fool to follow me, brother. The twisting nether feeds my strength. I have become more powerful than you could ever imagine.
I cannot let you unleash your power upon Azeroth Race. If you do not yield, I will be forced to destroy you!
Destroy me? No, brother. Your blade will become my instrument.
What? What are you doing? No!
Kill this interloper, brother.
I obey.
Useless. Stand aside while I do what you cannot, brother. Run away, little girl. Run away.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Once again, I must clean up your mess, brother. Run away, little girl. Run away.
4, 3, 2, 1.
4, 3, 2,
2, 1.
I'm defeated? That's impossible.
Greetings.